Hello.
How's everybody doing?
I was just going to welcome everyone to another episode of Recapping Survivor. Because that is essentially, what
Survivor.
we're watching now. We're a Survivor podcast now. That's fine.
Basically. Yeah, I
think it works.
It works. We get to talk about who was voted off the island this episode.
Mm-hmm. So entertaining. Anyway, before we get into that, hey, how are you? What's going on?
Good. How are you?
Good, actually. I feel a little bit more peppy this week than I was last week. I don't know what happened. I didn't even sleep more or anything, but I feel better.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. How about you? Done any more adventures with Grandpa?
Well, we actually went to Tenerife for 5 days in the Canary Islands and looked for wedding venues.
Yeah!
And maybe found one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It was really fun and a little stressful, but mostly fun.
What was stressful? Just like trying to make decisions?
Oh my gosh. No, not that. There was one place that was like head and shoulders above all the other ones that we saw. So like as soon as we walked in, we were like, okay, this is perfect. Mm-hmm. But the last day we were there, nothing went right. Like we wanted to go sea kayaking. Mm-hmm. So we called a bunch of places. Nobody had any tours available. So we said, okay, we'll just go down and rent a kayak. This person had emailed me back and said, yeah, we don't have any room in the tours, but you can rent a kayak. We said, perfect. So we went, I guess about 11, and we walked around. We tried to find a parking place, but it was like in the marina. So you go in and we took a right and there were no parking places left and a bunch of people trying to turn around. But like it was really small and you could like fall in the water. It was like on the edge and there was no rail or anything. And this guy didn't know how to turn around his car. And so he was like, you guys have to go out backwards. And we were like, no, we're not doing that.
We're like, you have to learn to do this, sir.
Yvonne was like, do you want me to get your car out? Like, I'm not going backwards. So we directed all the traffic. We got out of there. We finally parked. We went to the kayak renting place. They didn't open till 3. So we went to... Sorry, welcome to my live podcast now. This is a long story.
No, go for it.
So
I'm in for it.
We went to get like a beer and then we ended up eating there, which was good. And then we went to the kayak renting place. And this like super hippie dude was like, oh yeah, we opened, but we're not renting kayaks today because the wind is too strong. We were like,
what? You're not sailing.
Okay. So we went there and waited for like 5 hours for nothing.
Oh my gosh.
So we left and then we went to do something else, like swim in these natural pools, and they were really nice and pretty and that was fun. So then for dinner, I wanted to go to this restaurant that I saw online that had something I knew my grandpa would really like. So we show up early for dinner in Spain, like 7:30, and dinner's not usually till 8 or 8:30. So we show up and they're like, oh yeah, we don't have any tables. And so I said, well, can we wait? And she was like, no, we're full all night. I was like, okay. So we walk around and like when my grandpa's here, I'm the only one who makes decisions. He doesn't make any decisions. Nobody else wanted to make any decisions. So I saw this tapas place. So we went in and we sat there for 45 minutes and we could not get served.
What the heck?
And this was our last night in Tenerife. So we like wanted to have a nice dinner and everything. And we could not get served. So we just got up and we got a water. And so we paid for the water. And then we said we left.
You have to pay for water in Spain?
Yeah,
It's like normal? Oh, that's
yeah, but they give you bottles, not tap water.
I remember that. And you have to pay for the breadsticks, I remember.
Yeah, and the bread.
When I visited you, and if you didn't open it, they wouldn't charge you. But if you opened it, and you can't resist because like it's delicious.
And you're hungry.
So sorry.
So we leave there and we're like, F it, we're just going to go to McDonald's. So.
No, you ate McDonald's.
Yeah. So, but that's not even it. Then we got stuck in this like industrial center with a whole bunch of one ways and dead ends. It took us like 30 minutes to get out. And then finally we make it to the McDonald's, and then we just eat and go home. So that was like all one day. We're like nothing. We couldn't do anything.
Okay, but then what I want to know is like, how is everyone's mood throughout this? Like, after the first mishap, was it like, oh, well, that's kind of funny, but like, that's okay? And then it was a slow decline? Or like, how did everybody fare throughout this whole thing?
Well, mostly I was the one that was upset because I had to make all the decisions, and everything I was deciding wasn't working, and nobody would like help me. So the first decision I made was to go kayaking, because we all know Grandpa loves kayaking.
He is the kayaker.
He doesn't like, dolphin or whale watching boats or anything like that where they actually had spaces available. So I'm trying to find something that Grandpa wants to do. It doesn't work. We're fine. We go do something else. But then the restaurant made me sad because we also drove 30 minutes to go to that specific restaurant.
Aww.
And then the only thing around after that restaurant was Indian food, but Grandpa doesn't like Indian food, so that's why it took forever to find another restaurant. And I just was like, can somebody else decide where to go? Like, there's an Italian place, there's a tapas place, there's a fish place. Can somebody just say something? And nobody would, so I'm like, okay, let's go to this tapas place. And we sat there for 45 minutes with water. We couldn't get any food. So everybody else was fine, but I was just like, felt like it was all my fault.
But it wasn't. But like, I know that feeling though. And that's like exactly why I hate making decisions for that kind of thing, especially for like a group, because then you're like, well, if it goes great, awesome, I look amazing. But if one thing goes wrong, then it's like, why'd you even take us here?
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that.
So, but the rest of the trip, I mean, can't really complain because the rest of it was really nice, and we did everything.
You may have found your wedding venue.
Exactly.
So exciting!
Yeah,
I'm so excited for you.
Thanks.
Well, that's exciting. Okay, yeah, you can tell me about that later because we don't want to spoil the wedding for anybody.
True, no spoilers.
Except me. You can tell me. Okay. Well, that's really fun. I'm glad you're back home, into your home, not my home. And yeah, when do you get to watch Bachelor in Paradise?
I watched it on Wednesday after finishing work. What about you?
I watched Wednesday night also after finishing, not really work, but things that I had to do. And it was all right. I don't know how to feel about this episode. Kind of felt weird.
Why weird?
It felt weird because it started with all the drama and then it kind of tuckered out by the end. That's not the right term. Petered out? I don't know what the term is. But it didn't feel like the drama built. It felt like the drama...
there was...
Or like...
One
felt
point,
less interesting.
Yeah, there was one point, I guess it was like when the drama was at the bottom, where I was literally thinking like, oh, this is the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But it was the middle.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, wow, I have so much left, and I feel like we're done.
I know. I was like, I gotta keep taking notes to stay awake through the rest of this episode. But let's just get into it, shall we?
Perfect.
Okay. So we start with people just gossiping about Brendan and Piper, of course. So then that lets us know that this whole next segment is going to be about Brendan and Piper, which we all saw coming because we saw Chris and Alana get like annihilated the last episode.
Voted off the island.
Voted off the Survivor Island. And then we're like, okay, well, what about Brendan and Piper? So now we're going to talk about Brendan and Piper. And you can tell that they're getting all nervous because Titus Burgess is like, if you're already in a relationship, why are you even here? And then Cameron goes to Cameron, was that a good impression?
It was great.
Thank you.
Could add a little more sass, I think.
I didn't want to outshine him, you know?
Yeah. That would be difficult to do.
Yeah, it would. But then the camera goes straight to Brendan and Piper, and they're like biting their lips not to like look so nervous, but you can tell they know what's coming.
They do.
And Anyway, I think people just kind of work themselves up a lot. Everybody's mad. Natasha's really mad that nobody's giving the same attention to Brendan and Piper that they did with Chris and Alana. Finally, the females assemble with Joe.
And Joe, yeah. The ringleader.
And they form a mob, I guess. It's just so strange to me. Like, even though I understood the sentiment, like, I understood why they were mad. I get that they were trying to stick up for Natasha. I get that, like, Brendan's now giving off mean boy vibes. But it felt very like, okay, y'all just did this.
And what they kept saying didn't make sense to me, because they kept saying, you're taking up spots of other people who want to be here. And I'm like, what spots? Bachelor in Paradise 1 started out with like 10 people, and now we're up to like 48. So why are you talking about spots?
And also, it'd be different if it was like a girl, like what it was before Piper showed up. It's like Brendan was supposedly taking a spot away from a guy who was maybe more open, but now that they're both there, they cancel each other out. Like, I don't know what they mean by spots. Are there people waiting like in a basement, waiting to come up onto the beach, waiting for somebody to like leave so that they
don't get to?
And
if they stay?
Yeah, I feel like they have a set number of people that they're like have already cast.
Yeah.
Do you think?
But I feel like they're saying like, why did you come? Because Bachelor Nation or the producers would have chosen 2 other people who are more open to come. But my thing is, I don't think they have a limit.
No, they don't.
Because
obviously not. I mean, more people are still coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not understand that either. I also didn't understand why it was Demi that kept saying all these things. Biggest hypocrite of the century.
She's still mad that Brendan rejected her.
Yeah. And I think...
But it's not a good look.
It's not a good look because everybody knows that she did the exact same thing, if not worse. It's just that she got better PR, better editing. But...
Well, yeah, because they couldn't have the first... Or maybe not the first, but the first storyline of someone coming on bisexual to be negative.
Yeah, she can't... Yeah, she couldn't have been the villain at that point. And she was so much more toned down. Like, she had a full PR workup done before getting on the beach 2 summers ago. So she lucked out in that department. But, yeah, I just don't understand. And she's so mad about it. And it's like, I think what it is she wants to drill into the audience's head that, like, see, Brendan rejected me not because he didn't want me, but because he already had a girlfriend. And isn't that messed up? And it's like, maybe he also just didn't like you. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know why people are so angry. Like, I get why Natasha's hurt, because she feels like she wasted her time and she could have been making other connections and not spending her time with him. So I get
she probably
that.
Felt dumb for like putting all of her eggs in that basket, so to speak.
So I get that part, but the part that I don't get is all the people mad that they knew each other before coming on, because it's like, you all have talked to other people in Bachelor Nation before you got here.
Exactly.
There's not one of you that can say that you haven't.
Right. And even if you didn't like meet up and hook up already, but you all slid in each other's DMs, you all got to know each other, you've all hung out in group settings, like, yeah. Come on. The producers obviously ask everyone before going on the beach, who do you hope is here? Like, who do you want us to cast for your love interest on the TV?
Yeah.
So, like,
and then they gave Natasha, well, that's kind of in the middle, but it's fine. We're on the subject. They gave Natasha the rose, the like pity rose to stay.
Yes.
And why didn't they give Yesenia one?
Right.
They're in the same position.
I mean, I think the difference between Natasha and Yesenia is Natasha has a Bachelor Nation podcast. And I'm being real about that. Like, she's now a employee of the franchise. So, like, she gets special privileges. Honestly, yes, I do not like Brendan. I really don't care about Piper. I think she's probably just young and dumb, to be honest. But I think Brendan is objectively a not nice person. But I also don't understand, like, just the uproar of, what am I trying to say? Like, Natasha could have dropped him a long time ago. It's not like it's like we were saying this last week, like, he wasn't giving her much, at least from what we saw.
But even other people who were on the beach said, like, they never kissed, they never, like, he's not giving her anything. Like, other people noticed it, which makes me think, like, why? I mean, yes, he is good looking, but
kinda. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, he is, but I also think maybe it's just because now I think his personality has really dampened his any chances of being attractive to me. But I don't know. I think maybe this is out of line, but this might just be a learning opportunity for Natasha to not invest in someone who's not invested in her and who's very obviously not invested in her. Because in Brendan's defense, and this is the only defense I will give him, I think he was trying really hard not to make it romantic because he probably didn't want to lead her on. He was glad to have somebody that will continue to give him a rose until Piper got there. But I think he was very strict in the line that he drew to say, we can have an emotional connection, but it won't be romantic. And he didn't want to come out and say that. Maybe that was like the fault, but yeah, I think Natasha has just learned a hard lesson to learn, but a very valuable lesson in make sure the person that you are putting all your time into is actually going to reciprocate that and pay attention to the signs.
I think that everyone has to learn that lesson. Like, I think everyone can look back on past relationships and be like, oh, I was so much more invested in that person than they were in me, and how, like, did I not see it at that point? Or maybe I saw it and I ignored it. And I think she definitely saw it and ignored it, because even in her interviews, she would say, you know, like, he's not kissing me, or he's not giving me anything, or I need more from him, or whatever. And it's like, you should have at that point probably just looked somewhere else for your connection.
Right. And maybe she wasn't attracted to anyone else, so she wasn't really like excited about anyone else to leave whatever she'd invested in with Brendan. But yeah, I think she's learned a good lesson. I think it's a lesson she probably needed to learn. And she kind of mentioned it later on, which we'll get to. When she was on the date with Dr. Joe, she kind of said, like, I tend to stay in relationships longer than I should. So she definitely knows that. I'm not saying she's unaware of her faults, but I think what we all saw on our television these past few weeks is somebody real time learning, maybe I'm like investing more in fantasy than reality.
Yeah, and I also feel like it's similar to the Blake and the Stagecoach situation, except for, I mean, he didn't get as bad of an edit as these two guys are getting, and he was actually
dating multiple people. He was
people.
Seeing most people. Yeah. Multiple.
But the thing is, people are all now like, that's what paradise is for. So now that's more acceptable than coming to paradise because you want to spend time with one person.
Yeah.
I mean, they even said this episode, not that I'm team Brendan or Piper, but I felt for them a little bit more than last episode, because they were like, no, we would never be able to have this much time together uninterrupted. Like, we wanted this time together. And it's like, yeah, that's great. And I'm sure that if it were a couple that America wanted to see, we would be happy. It's like when Demi and her girlfriend came on, America wanted to see that relationship grow. So we were happy that she was there with her girlfriend, and it was like, oh, we get to watch this on our TV. Otherwise they'd be at home and we would never get to see anything. So I think if he had been more honest, maybe, then everyone would be happy to see them flourish on TV.
Yeah, definitely. I think that made the big difference. Is he could have just been like, I'm really excited about Piper. Like, he could have been so vocal about it instead of trying to hide it, because nobody really would have. Yeah, like you said, that's become the new culture of like paradise, even though everybody's saying it's about dating everybody on the beach. I'm not sure where that came from. Maybe I'm just like weirdly monogamous, but like that wouldn't have been in my brain going on
But
Paradise.
I feel like that's never been the goal.
What? To
date everybody?
Yeah, I thought the goal is to be engaged at the end. And how do you be engaged if you go on every single date?
I mean, I think that obviously the premise is that somebody could come down the beach that you might like and take on a date or whatever, but the goal is not for everyone to date everyone.
Yeah, I'm so confused where that came from. Anyway, we won't get into that again because I know we already talked about it, but yeah, I had Brendan
gone through the Brendan and Piper thing.
We have. I wish it could have turned out different because I wanted to root for them, although now we know that Brendan is kind of a douchebag, so maybe it's good that we know his true colors.
Yeah, also it's really weird because I regret to say that on Tayshia's season I loved him.
Yeah, like because I think he was quiet. He didn't say much.
Yeah, but the way he talks about people and women in particular, it just bothers me. Like he was like, oh, Joe and his disgruntled females. Like, what?
Yeah,
you couldn't have found a better description?
That just was the first thing that popped into his head, which tells you a lot. I mean, the first thing that pops into people's head is the first thing that pops into people's head. So I think he's very controlling. I think he's very, I wouldn't say like very misogynistic, but I think he kind of has the misogynistic streak of thinking that he is just better than everyone around him.
Yeah.
You know,
did you see that the girls change? Oh, sorry.
Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, because I want a moment for this. Go ahead. Go.
I was just gonna say, did you see that the girls changed their Instagram bios to disgruntled female?
Oh, I did not see that, but that's really funny.
It's really funny. I was like Demi and Yesenia.
Yeah. I did see Demi say something about that.
They changed their bios to disgruntled females. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
That's like the new like nasty woman thing. Yeah. Anyway, no, what I was gonna say, and I saw something very, very interesting on the internet, and it is Brendan's acting reel. Did you know about this?
I think I saw something that he went to acting school or something.
I don't believe he went to acting school. I think that was Greg. But he, maybe they both did.
I think it was both.
Okay, he may have, which is crazy because that was not even like talked about at all. But I saw his acting reel on YouTube, and when I saw it, there was only like 1,200 views or something. I'm scared to see how many there are now because it just got shared so much on Reddit, Instagram, Twitter. And listeners, if you've not seen this, please go see it because it is very cringy, very over the top, very telling as to how Brendan sees himself. He definitely thinks he's incredibly talented, which I do not agree with. And he's there to make a TV presence. So like, I think that it's very obvious what his motives were. I think he also probably likes Piper, but I think more than that, he wants to be famous.
I think so too. And it goes back to what I said last episode, that if he really, really liked Piper, he would not have gone to Paradise.
Exactly.
And Piper told him that she didn't want to go.
Yeah, I caught that too. She's like, I told you.
So if he really liked her, he wouldn't have gone to Paradise, but he wants to be famous. And I also think that's why he went so far in Tayshia's season and then sent himself home.
Yes.
Because he was like, oh, if I send myself home, number one, that's like kind of endearing to be like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not the man that can be the man for you, or whatever he said. It's like, oh, look, what a good person, because he knows he can't give her everything and he's going home. And it's like, no, maybe he never really liked her and he stayed the whole time.
And I think that is very possible, because now Tayshia in her podcast with Natasha and Joe, she's all pissed too, because she's looking at the screen seeing, oh my gosh, he acted the exact same way on my season with me, and I totally bought it too. So, like, you know, maybe I need to eat my words. Me, Rachel, I need to eat my words, not Tasha. That there is a possibility that Natasha was totally led on. Like, maybe it wasn't romantic, but maybe Brendan was just vulnerable, pseudo-vulnerable enough to make Natasha feel like they had a connection that could become romantic. But anyway, I think it's pretty clear Brendan is a piece of poo, and he obviously wants to be famous, and too bad for him. He lost over 100,000 followers. So sorry.
That's hilarious.
But they do end up leaving, quote unquote, on their own terms.
Yes. And together.
He says, "This is my woman, and I'll take her." I'm just like, okay. Nobody wanted Piper.
At this point, everyone knows that I want to be with Piper. And we're like, oh, really?
Yeah, thanks for the announcement. Thanks for clearing that up.
It's almost as bad as Chris's announcement.
I know everyone will be very upset about this.
Like, no, only one person's going to be upset.
Like, okay, thank you.
All right, so bye-bye, Brendan and Piper. You have been voted off the island at the Tribunal Council meeting, or whatever it's called.
Is that what? I've never seen Survivor. Is that what it's called?
I think so. Someone let us know if it's called something else. My mom watches that show, so Mom, let me know.
Mom, fill us in. Okay.
So, moving on.
Oh, I don't even know if I want to talk about the next little blip. And that is the food play of Marissa and Riley.
There's one part that I can't.
I know which part. Honestly, it was bad for me too, and I don't even have a problem with. I'm just gonna say it. I'm sorry, feet. I don't even have a problem with feet. Like, and then it's not like I got a thing for him, but I know. Wells' reaction was great though. Like, if you can lick a toe, you can get engaged on this island or whatever.
I think so.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that was all gross. And then, like, I mean, it's one thing, I think, to do it on camera or something, like, because, you know, if you went on a date and the producers had set it up or whatever, you know, but everyone was just watching, like, it was in front of everybody.
So weird.
And like,
and they had to blur out her chesticles because her top was it was all kinds of messy. It was all kinds. I mean, honestly, I will not shame them. If that is your thing, that is your thing. I don't care. Okay. But why did it need to be so long? Like, why did we need to see so much of it? Yeah. And in full, like, it could have been a hint. It could have been.
Yeah,
like,
somebody could have just
gone to
they're over there with whipped cream.
Room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it would have been just as funny to see them walk into the boom boom room with whipped cream in hand.
Yeah.
Implied. I'm totally fine with that, and I will not shame them, but that gave me a visceral gut reaction to where I almost turned it off. I'm not even kidding. Like, that was disgusting. Like, I felt my whole body recoil.
It was so nasty. And like, why? I'm confused. Why do Marissa and Riley get all of the food stuff? Like, they had to eat all that nasty stuff, and then now they had to do like whipped cream and strawberry foreplay.
And they did it with spaghetti later too. Maybe that's their thing.
I don't know, but
I could never.
But we can move on from that.
I think it's best that we do. Okay, Tammy's birthday.
Oh, I mean, listen, I don't feel bad for Tammy about Thomas, but I do feel bad that it was on her birthday. So, I mean, we all knew based on Thomas and Becca's date from the previous episode that Thomas was very into Becca, and we've never seen Thomas look at Tammy the way that he looked at Becca, or even have any conversations similar to the conversations that he had with Becca. So we all knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But why did it have to be on her birthday?
Mixed feelings, as with anything for me. One, it sucks to have your birthday ruined. Two, why put yourself in that position on your birthday? You know, not to say it's all her fault, but also, like, one, we could say it's karma for doing similar things to Aaron with Thomas.
Actually, worse.
We could also say Thomas handled it surprisingly well. I thought he was totally respectful. I thought he was totally direct and honest. And he wasn't trying to lead her astray or on. Not astray. He was not trying to, like, lead her on or, like, give her false hope. He was very direct. Every time she tried to, like, you know, clarify or, like, try to get him to change his mind or something, he's like, no, I'm really sticking to my guns here. And I thought he handled it so well. So although she got her feelings hurt on her birthday, which sucks, like, I don't think and it could have gone any other way. And maybe she could have just waited till it wasn't her birthday if she didn't want her birthday ruined.
But waited for what? It was a cocktail party. So the rose was going to be given out that day on her birthday.
Oh, that was the cocktail. Oh, wait, I guess it was. Oh, yeah, it was right before the rose ceremony. I don't know. Maybe she could have handled it the day before.
Yeah, I mean, she could have maybe waited till they got back from the date and then done it. But I think still would have been a bad birthday, no?
Well, yeah, I mean, when it push comes to shove, she still got sent home on her birthday. Yeah. So that sucks.
Okay,
but at least she could have had, like, a fun night with her friends.
Well, I don't. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Were you maybe kind of expecting Aaron to give his rose to Tammy?
I thought about it. But I thought if he did, it would have been like see, I knew this would happen, but hey, babe, you can always come back to me.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that he might, because I don't see him having a real connection with anyone else.
Especially not Chelsea. I really did not see any chemistry between them.
No. And, but then I think his pride just kind of got in the way, because then he'd be like, oh, I'm seconds to Thomas because Thomas doesn't want her.
Yeah. No, I think Aaron didn't even like Tammy at that point anymore. I think he was, like, over it, and yeah, I think he just wanted to kind of show her that she messed up, which I would agree.
I would definitely agree.
But how, answer me this. How is Thomas Tammy's best friend? I feel like she was just regurgitating, like, lines from a rom-com or something. Like,
yes,
I gave you everything. You are my best friend. I will fight so hard. I do not give up easy. You know, love me. What's the guy's name in the Notebook? Noah. Oh, that's also a guy on the beach. Maybe that wouldn't have been appropriate. Yeah. Like, what was she just drunk? Like, were they actually best friends? I'm confused.
Yeah, when she said that, I was like, oh, I mean, if it's true, that's really sad.
Yeah.
But why are you pulling out? I felt like she was just pulling out, like, lines that she thought would make a difference or an emotional, like pull at him emotionally and be like, oh, well, maybe I'll give you a chance, you know, if I'm your best friend or, you know, whatever. But
that only works if he also thinks that she's his best friend. Like,
which he clearly doesn't.
I mean, doesn't seem like it. I don't know. The only thing we saw them bond over was that they both got bad edits on their seasons.
Yeah, they got the villain edit.
Yeah. So sorry, Tammy. So sorry your feelings got hurt on your birthday. I know that sucks. 2 years in a row, she got COVID and then she got broken up with. But, yeah, maybe in the future, if you think that maybe your relationship is on the rocks, try to break up before your birthday.
Yeah.
Just a little unsolicited advice from me. Let's quickly go through the rose ceremony. There wasn't really anything surprising except Wells gave Natasha the production rose.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wrote, and not Jasenia. Yeah, I wonder how she, maybe, I don't know. And I just wrote, did she really have her chance at love torn away? But we already got into that, so I won't do it again. Just to recap, Riley gave his rose to Marissa. Grocery Store Joe gave his rose to Serena. Ivan gave his rose to Kendall.
Yep.
When did that happen?
I saw it coming. Actually, I meant to mention last week, but I didn't because we were running out of time because we had a lot of episodes to cover. Mm-hmm. But every time we saw Kendall, she was sitting next to Ivan.
But they didn't even show that, like, development at all.
Yeah, no. And then I was confused about it as well. I mean, I figured it was coming because I saw that they were always together in other shots, but we haven't seen anything. But the same thing kind of happened with Tia and James. Like, James gave Tia his rose and they, like, kissed and stuff, but we never saw it before the rose, really.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I guess so. We can get to that a little bit later on. Anyway, okay, so picking back up, Noah gave his rose to Abigail. Kenny gave his rose to Mari. James gave his rose to Tia. Thomas to Becca. And Aaron to Chelsea. And then Tammy, Demi, Jasenia, and Deandra all went home. And that's that.
Yep.
Okay. They all are toasting, and then Lil Jon's the new host.
Comes in strong.
You know, I thought no one could be more dramatic than Titus Burgess, but Lil Jon might be just as dramatic. He's got some theatrics in him. Kind of a funny guy.
And apparently Noah did an impression of Lil Jon, which is embarrassing.
A little embarrassing, I would agree. Yes.
Awkward, cringy.
Pretty awkward and cringy. Then Blake enters, who I've never seen before in my life.
Me neither, but he is cute.
I don't remember him. He was so cute.
I don't remember him either.
But apparently he was on Claire's season. Do you think he was one of the ones that left when Claire left? Because they didn't say it was Claire and Tayshia's season. He said he was on Claire's season.
No, I think maybe he got sent home night 1.
And then didn't get asked back.
Because not...
For Tayshia?
Yeah, not everybody came back.
Oh, no. Oh, wait. Maybe... Okay, it just popped in my head. I thought he said he was on Claire and Tayshia's, and neither one of them liked him.
I thought that was Dr. Joe.
Damn it. You're right. I can't keep it straight. I probably would have written that down had it been Blake.
No, I think he just went home before Tayshia arrived, which means none of the guys who went home night 1 came back.
Right.
Like, Tayshia was just left with the guys that Claire left, and then new people came in. Like Noah and the other people, but they didn't invite the night 1 people back.
Oh, I thought some of them did. Anyway.
Oh, maybe.
Not the point. The point is, as soon as Blake entered, I was like, that's Tia's type.
Yeah.
Because he looks just like her ex. Not just like, but really similar to her ex,
Colton.
who's not a Bachelor person.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they have some similarities. It's hard to, like, if you just kind of squint one eye and then maybe the other one as well. Like,
and turn your head upside down.
Turn your head upside down and just make a big wish, then they do look alike. But no, he looks like her non-Bachelor ex from Nashville. But yeah, as soon as he walked in, I was like, oh gosh, yep, that's Tia's type. Lo and behold, they do go on a date, but poor James is left in the dust.
Poor James, man.
He can't catch a break.
Can't catch a break. But he made a joke about package with Joe, and I just thought it was really funny because I was like, box, package, sticking with the theme.
What was he talking? I missed that.
I don't remember what the exact. I should have written it down, but they said something about a package, and I was like, did they do that on purpose?
Maybe.
So yes, poor James has hung on week by week, always with a different person.
Yeah. Okay, this is kind of a tangent, but I noticed they said like every Monday he's back at square one. So are these weeks actual weeks?
They can't
I'm not
be.
sure. I always thought it was like every 3 days was like an episode or something like that, like considered a week. Like they had a rose ceremony like twice a week or something. Because
I think so.
Like they're there that long.
No, somebody said they were only there for like 4 weeks or 5 weeks, and we've already had like 12 episodes.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if it means like, so the girls have the roses and then the guys have the roses.
Probably.
Within a week. And then once the girls have the roses back on Monday is when he's without a date.
Probably.
Because now the girls are in power again. Okay. I've cracked the code. Good little behind the scenes action there for you people.
That we don't know if it's 100% true.
Exclusive behind the scenes.
But we're going to pretend.
No, I think that's probably right. I'm going to say that that's fact.
Hashtag facts.
Hey, Aaron would call that a fact.
True.
Okay. So on Blake and Tia's date, Lil Jon brings the ATV. It's called an ATV, right? Yeah. I wanted to call it a dune buggy, and Philip was like, it's an ATV. I was like,
I would say it's an ATV or a four-wheeler.
Yeah, with like a frame. Because I thought four-wheelers are like, you sit on top of them. I don't know. That's not the point. Come on, people, let's get back on track. And it looks like fun. Yeah. I kind of like those dates. I like the adrenaline dates.
Me too, but she said how much fun she had, but she was screaming bloody murder the whole time. I was like, there's no way you had fun. You were terrified.
I think she's just so over the top.
I was like, girl, like calm down.
I like her, I know. I was like, you went over a bump, and you've already been over 50. You're good.
The whole
you're safe.
Time.
Yeah, I think she was just playing the damsel in distress a little bit.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
But yes, it looked like they had fun.
I would have had tons of fun on that date. I love those things. Even though I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, I must love them so much.
I'm a big fan. It's actually my biggest hobby. They seemed like they had really good chemistry.
They did.
Like, genuinely.
And they were talking about life outside of paradise and like
already, yeah,
relationships, and if you only have one soulmate or more than one soulmate. And I thought that was like,
it was
cute relationship talk, especially for the first date, that they were like already, they seemed really comfortable with each other.
Yeah, and they must have like already talked before, like DM kind of wise. I think that's pretty obvious. I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't either. I also pretty sure they did, because when they were leaving the date or whatever, she said, "Oh, nice to finally formally meet you," or something like that. And so I was like, okay, you've DM'd for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, I mean, obviously, I don't care, but
yeah, I think he was one of the people that she told producers that she wanted to meet.
Exactly.
I think so. I saw a funny tweet that I'll just loosely quote because I don't have it in front of me. But it said, I thought Tia was worried about her Bible study watching The Bachelor in Paradise.
I was thinking that.
And here she is talking about ovulating and parts of her body quivering. What did she use? What did she say?
She said vagina dance.
Oh, yes. The little jig.
I was between the food play and the vagina talk. I was like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was ABC.
Well, it ain't ABC Family. It's just ABC. We are on primetime television. This is nothing. I don't know. Tell you what, if this was a UK show, though, they would be like having sex on screen.
True.
Have you ever watched like UK primetime television?
Mm-mm.
They have full body parts on there. Anatomy lesson all
like
the time.
Netflix.
Yeah, like Netflix, HBO, but like on their regular cable. It's crazy. I was shocked. I was like staying at a hotel in the UK one time, and I was just watching, you know, harmless. I think it was like a game show, and then somebody's whole frontal nudity was on the screen. I was shocked. Anyway.
Oh,
I'm not bothered by those things. Okay, I look at them as a medical view. What am I trying to say? Lens. But anyway, so Tia's ovulating. We're very happy that she has regular menses cycles.
yes, and we're happy that she knows herself and her body, and she
she's in tune
with her body. Yeah,
we're happy for her.
That.
Yes, we are.
That's great, and we're happy that she found someone who does it for her.
Yeah, I honestly think they probably won't get engaged. I think that's like kind of short notice, but I do see them dating, at least for a bit.
I do too.
What's the next big thing? I guess Dr. Joe comes in.
Dr. Joe comes in. And let me just say,
dorky.
Yeah, a little cringy. I loved him on Tayshia's season.
Mm-hmm.
But this episode, I was cringing, and I guess it's the way they edited it, obviously, but the way he kept... Okay, so he took Natasha on the date. Obviously, just on the date, the way...
Spoiler.
Well, we didn't say it, and I know there are some people who listen to the podcast who don't watch the show, so...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my mom is one of those. Okay, keep going. I'm so sorry.
So, Dr. Joe comes in, makes a joke that everybody can call him a doctor. Just, like, a little awkward. Yeah. And then
nobody laughed.
Yeah, everybody's like, okay. He takes Natasha on the date, and on the date, he just keeps saying, I'm just so happy to be here with you right now. I'm so grateful to be here with you right now. I'm really glad to be here, that we can spend this time together. And I'm like, it only counts if you talk about real stuff.
Yeah, and you know, my rule of thumb is if somebody has to say it out loud like that, it's probably not super true. Because I think there are plenty of ways to say that you're happy to be with someone in that particular moment without saying, I'm so happy to be here right now. Like, okay, maybe like look into her eyes, give her a little smooch, like ask her interesting questions and give interesting answers and lean in. You know, there's plenty of things to do without just saying like, you're beautiful. Obviously, you're beautiful. I'm so happy to be here with you. Like, I saw zero chemistry from the start. I think they were just pressured to go on this date because everybody felt bad for Natasha.
Yeah, I think so. Because when they left, well, even when she was talking to him, everyone was like, oh, look at them, blah, blah, blah. And then when they left, everyone was like, oh, I'm so happy for her. I'm so happy. So you know that Joe went in there. He talked to the boys. All the boys were like, you have to take Natasha. Mm-hmm. And he took Natasha, and there was no chemistry, and he just kept saying, you're gorgeous. I'm happy to be here. You're beautiful. I'm glad to spend this time with you. Over and over again, to the point where I was like, you're making me physically uncomfortable, like more than the food play. Like, I'm really uncomfortable. Well, I could tell Natasha was uncomfortable too, because by the 5th time he said it, she was like, thanks.
She's like, yeah, you're so beautiful. Thank you. I know. Like, duh.
Like, we're all beautiful.
But what about his Spanish?
Oh, it was horrible. It was awful. It was so bad. I'm like, why would they let you do that? And then he
forgot his lines halfway through.
Oh gosh, it was horrible. I was cringing.
Oh. I'm sure he's a smart guy, but he just has no game whatsoever.
Well, and
but
they just didn't have chemistry.
They didn't have chemistry, and I think that had he been able to take like Kendall, for instance, on a date, not to say Kendall's ready to be in another relationship, as we saw a little bit later, but I think they would have had a little bit more chemistry because they're both a little bit more nerdy in a great way. Yeah. And I think they would have just had more in common and interests wise. I don't see Natasha like she's like kind of dorky, but she's more like quirky than straight up dorky.
Yeah, and she's super funny. Like,
yeah,
like witty.
very witty and very like cool.
Yeah. And she's just like always with it, you know, and he was just like not at all.
Yeah.
It was all weird. And then his face when she was talking about the Brendan thing also made me so uncomfortable. Like he was like, it looked like he was trying not to laugh.
Yeah, why was he smiling?
I don't know.
It was so weird. I noticed that too. He was like smiling when she was saying like, I got really hurt by your friend. And he was smiling.
He was like he was trying not to laugh.
What a jerk.
I mean, maybe something happened. Maybe it was like, you know, maybe we'll see in bloopers that there were lots of bugs and she, you know, was swiping them from her face or something. I don't know. But I just was like, what is up with your face? And like to be a doctor where you have to like console people if, I mean, I don't know what type of doctor he is, but I imagine
he's an anesthesiologist, so he deals with unconscious people. So obviously he has no social skills.
Well, maybe that's why. But I was just, I mean, I'm sure you still have to tell people who are going to sleep if they're upset or something. Like you still have to comfort people.
Yeah. Well, actually what I noticed is he's very good at like rehearsed interaction or like interaction where he knows his role. So like, he can say, I'm so sorry, that must have been very hard for you. And like he knows these lines, but I don't think he like genuinely can dive into a conversation and just be comfortable. I think he's just so awkward.
Gosh,
and he
that
also
was so weird.
Very obviously didn't actually like Natasha that much either. And why did, I don't know.
I wanted him to just say something like, something similar like, hey, he's really close to me. We're really good friends, but I know that it's possible that he is a good friend to me and he was terrible to you. And I'm sorry for that, because that's totally valid. Like, let's say that you did something horrible to someone, not that you would, but like, I love you and you're my best friend. So if somebody came to me, I could be like, yeah, what she did sucks. She's still my best friend and I love her, but I can recognize that maybe she's not the same way to you.
Yeah. And people are multifaceted and some people have bad days and some people have good days. And yeah, there's a way to acknowledge that Brendan did something bad without saying, Brendan? My Brendan?
My Brendan? My boyfriend, Brendan?
My little cupcake, Brendan?
I came here to be with Brendan.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Brendan was there for Piper and Dr. Joe was there for Brendan.
Yes.
What a strange love triangle this is.
Dr. Joe and Brendan were actually in a relationship before Paradise.
Oh my God. Alert the headlines.
So yeah, I was just like, golly, like there's a way to recognize that even though he's your friend, still have some compassion for Natasha. I mean, I also get it that maybe he's like, oh, there's two sides to a story and I don't know anything because I just got here. So I want to hear Brendan's side of the story.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, we're seeing everything back. But Dr. Joe's been in quarantine for however long he had to quarantine before going. And he knows nothing about anything on the beach. And Brendan's his best friend. So he's going in there. And then Natasha's just saying, oh, he really hurt me. He did this. He did that. So I can see how Dr. Joe might want to talk to Brendan. But you're on a date. And I think there's a way to be like, oh, I'm really sorry that you're hurt. And not smile the whole time.
So weird. Yeah, I don't know. He must have just been really nervous.
I think he was. And then the way he was like hugging her aggressively when they were walking away.
Could have been anybody but Brendan, or like, it had to be Brendan, huh? It's like, dude, like, she's obviously not ready to joke about this. Like, read the room.
And you pretty much like changed after she told you it was Brendan and everything. And then at the end, you want to still joke. It'd be one thing if you guys have a great connection and you kiss and you're like, oh, I'm into you. And then you're joking like, oh, before this, it had to be Brendan.
Right.
Because
that
still
might have been like an eye roll, but like, okay, you could still continue.
Yeah, but if you're dating and building a relationship, then it's like, okay, she's over it because I'm here and we're vibing. So like, haha, it was Brendan. But after you decide you're not into it because it was Brendan or whatever, and then you're joking and like, hugging her weirdly and tripping her. I mean, he was like throwing her off balance. I was like, this is all very
so weird. It might have been the
uncomfortable.
10-gallon margarita they had in front of them also. So
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know. We could cut them a little bit of slack, but
I want one of those.
they looked good, except for the bug.
What? Dr. Joe ate the bug.
Yeah. Unforgivable. Okay. Let's move on to Serena and Joe, other Joe, grocery store Joe, who are adorable.
So cute.
So cute. I love them. Like, I still think their relationship is the only like pure, genuine, and realistic relationship that we've seen this season.
Yeah. I still
think they're
sometimes
awesome.
am like thinking, oh, it's really weird that it's like Serena who rejected Matt James.
I think Serena needed somebody to like banter with her and like stimulate her mentally, whereas Matt James is, I'm sorry, but kind of boring and maybe just not up to par with the mental level of Serena.
Yeah,
that's
no,
fine.
but I just mean that it's like they're so different, and she was on Matt's season for a while, you know, and then now it's like with Joe, who's obviously more awkward than she is.
Yeah.
But super cute. They told each other they were falling in love with each other.
I thought it was so cute that she like didn't expect it. Whereas like from the viewership, you can tell Joe is like crazy about her.
Yeah.
Like he's
Smitten.
so into her. So smitten. And honestly, I expected it to kind of be the other way. Like I thought because Serena in the past had been so reserved and like kind of had a guard up, I thought that it would be Joe kind of like trying to like break down her walls or whatever. But no, it was Serena. She was so sure that she was more into him than he was into her.
And then she said it and he said it back and she was like, really?
I know.
It was so cute.
Cute. I like get butterflies watching them just because it is so like real. I don't know. Like it feels like familiar emotions that I have actually felt. I cannot relate to licking whipped cream off of somebody's toe, but I can totally relate to that feeling like right before you tell somebody something really big and then you're so excited that they like reciprocate and you can tell that it's real.
Yeah.
Like I love watching that.
Yeah, that was like probably the best paradise moment so far. It was so cute. But
love
then
them.
why did it have to be in front of Kendall?
I don't think that they planned it in their defense. I think probably production may have nudged everyone to go sit on that daybed right in front of their little picnic or whatever they had. But yeah, poor Kendall. I'm trying to figure out, like, does Kendall really love Joe, or is it just hard to see your ex with somebody else?
I mean, I think anyone, and she even said that, like, anyone, it would be hard to see your ex there finding somebody else. Moving at a much, maybe not faster, but Serena and Joe have been there a lot longer, so it's harder for Kendall to have the same connection as they do, you know? But I felt bad for Kendall.
It seems to be following the same trajectory that Kendall and Joe's relationship went in, so that must be hard to watch. So I think it's more of like it's just uncomfortable, but it's not necessarily because Kendall's still in love with Joe. I think maybe she's interpreting those emotions that way, but like you said, anybody seeing their ex do the exact same thing with a new person, that's going to be difficult to watch.
Yeah. And then, so poor Kendall, she's really upset. And then poor Ivan, he tries to console her, and it was like not the moment.
No.
Not
Ivan.
the moment.
He said, I forget if it was on his Twitter or Instagram, but he said, oh no, I was just trying to distract her. I was just trying to turn her face away so she wouldn't be looking at it. Okay, then why'd you lean in, huh? Well, how come your lips got closer to her lips, huh? Like, I don't buy it. I'm sorry. He was trying to kiss her, and it was such a weird moment. So uncomfortable.
I mean, I guess maybe he thought that she might, like, her ex is kissing someone right now. Maybe she wants to kiss someone right now, the type of thing that's like, I don't know. But it was a bad moment. And then poor Ivan, because she was like, I gotta go.
I know. I'm hoping she was just a little overwhelmed in the situation and she'll be able to calm down and kind of even out. But that is not what we saw in the preview. Instead, we saw kind of the opposite, where she is crying a lot, hugging Joe, saying, this is the longest breakup ever. I'm still feeling all the effects of the breakup.
And Ivan's making out with someone else.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, did Chelsea. You see that in the preview?
I did. Yes, I wrote it down, but I forgot. Yes. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm
then
thinking,
Aaron gets
I guess.
mad. Can't wait.
Oh yeah, and they face up and try to like beat each other up. Like, what are you gonna do? Okay, anyway. But I guess what happens, my prediction is Kendall self-eliminates. She goes home. She's too much for her to handle. Ivan's like, what do I do now? And then gets with Chelsea.
Yeah, I think that Kendall goes to Joe and she's like, I still love you. Leave Serena, be with me. And Joe's like, no thanks. And Kendall's like, okay, bye. And then Ivan's like, well, guess I'll go for Chelsea because
girls have the roses.
And she has no chemistry with Aaron. So
yeah, I hope he has more chemistry with Chelsea.
Looked like.
I mean, they were making out, but I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. It's hard to predict these things. I just don't see Chelsea is obviously gorgeous. She's beautiful. Seems like a really interesting person. She doesn't seem like a relationship person.
Yeah.
Or like I just don't see much like sexuality about her, even though she's very beautiful. Like I just don't see like flirtation or anything like that about her. She seems very like, not like that. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I also feel like maybe she's just not interested in anyone who's on the beach, or at least anyone who's free on the beach. Like she might have gotten interested in somebody else, but they're taken, or she just like the person that she's interested in hasn't come down yet. Because I think she could be flirty, but I just don't think she has chemistry with anybody.
Yeah, I even thought when she was like on Matt's season and she was trying to do like the flirty kind of like bashful thing, it still didn't seem believable to me. So I don't know. Maybe she's just very guarded. I hope the best for her, but so far I haven't seen her have any like chemistry with anyone.
True.
Some other things that we saw in the preview are Natasha and Ed. And the tropical storm that they have to evacuate from. So that should be really interesting. I didn't see the tropical storm coming at all. So that's big drama I did not predict.
Yeah, and then, well, it'll be interesting to see what they do and how they finish it after. And, well,
yeah, they probably
logistics.
Just like, go to a hotel and then go back.
Yeah.
Probably fine.
That'll probably be like 10 minutes of like, well, it'll be a lot longer of them evacuating, and then it'll be 10 minutes of like selfies. We're in the hotel. And then it'll be like
style.
Yeah, and then it'll be like, okay, we're back at the beach.
Oh no, it froze. Oh, it froze. Okay, you're back, I think.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think it'll be a nice build up to all the drama, and then it'll just be okay, everybody can go back now. Storm passed. It was just some rain.
Exactly.
Who knows? All right. Yeah. Okay.
Is that
was
it?
the end of. I think that was it. That's all I have. I mean, they had Aaron at the end was just spitting straight facts, as he would say, but that was pretty funny. Aaron's kind of a funny guy.
I think Aaron is really funny. I think they don't show all of his personality, and he doesn't get as many interviews as other people, I guess, because doesn't have really that much going on right now. But everybody says he's the funniest. Like Becca's like, oh, everybody told me you're the funniest, and somebody else said that too. Yeah. And then when he does talk, I think he's funny. Like, he has funny lines.
Yeah, he is really funny. He seems very smart.
Hopefully we'll see more of that.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't just assault Ivan and get sent home. Who knows? We'll see.
Hopefully.
All right,
not.
well, only time will tell. We will have to see next week.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.